Sunday, March the 5th, 2023. On the way into work, I listened to the podcast Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast with Tom and Andy, who were joined by Kit O'Toole, who is my co-host on the Toppermost of the Poppermost podcast. Plug there. Even though my blog seems to have auto-corrected it to Kate O'Toole. I'm sorry, Kit. I must do something about that. Just like the Wings song. Must do something about it. Yeah, they were talking about the relationship between Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. Well, the songs that Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson did together. So you've got The Girl Is Mine, Say Say Say, and The Man. Particularly, they were looking at the song The Man, which was the second of two songs on Pipes of Peace that featured Michael Jackson on there as a, singer on the song with Paul, as well as a co-writer. It was lined up to be a single from the Pipes of Peace set, but they were discussing what the possible reasons why they stopped it from being released as a single almost at the last minute, because there were some press releases, whatever they call them, promo versions that were, manufactured, but they ended up not releasing it as a single, and there were various reasons suggested, which, and the podcast Sangeeta Says, with the older teenager, probably young adult now, I would say, Sangeeta. Sangeeta's going through a series that she calls Unexpected Surprises, and it's like an audio. She's reading a story that she's written, essentially, about this young female Muslim who... Are they Muslim? I think so. I feel bad now. Who, is going through life in a, British school or an English school, and it's all about that. And then we also had Feedback with Earbuds. Yeah, Feedback with Earbuds. Ariel Nissenblatt, she started off by explaining experiences that she's had while she was at the On Air Fest, which is a festival for podcast and radio, and what fun she had there and people that she met. The week's theme for podcast choices was Great Writing for the Ear, and the choices were made by Andrew, Chip and Connor, who are the writers and producers of the NPR show White Lies. The choices they suggested were Detention by Design, Deliberate Indifference, Wind of Change, Floodlines and Serial, with the Spotlight podcast being Deep Cover. Oh, and in passing they also mentioned the fiction podcast Book Burners. Out of the Blank, I got to listen to an episode of that after a long while. It's like I've said before, it's finding the time to listen to all of these shows, and Out of the Blank was one that is a show that I love, and was one of the shows that got me into, it was the show that got me into podcasting actually in the first place. And Robbie was speaking with the managing editor for the Shepherd Express, who's also a film critic and an author, among many other things, David Larson. And they were speaking about his writing about secret societies. And in passing, they mentioned the film Pentaverate. I think that's how it's pronounced. The Mike Myers film. And then the Nazi Party, the nuclear scientists, war trials, and what was going on during the Cold War. Something called Bohemian Grove. Manhattan Project. Yes, I've heard of the Manhattan Project. Of course I have. any fan of Rush worth their salt would have heard of Manhattan Project and looked it up, really. And, when they were kids, when they were listening to Rush, and would have thought, oh, what's that all about? Not being American or Canadian and being Brit. And a kid, when I was listening to that music, I'd be like, right, what's that all about? And so, but back then, oh dear me, it's going to turn into when I was your age, that sort of thing. When we used to have to go to the library and use microfilm and have a look on screens at microfiche and all that. We didn't have the internet to go on. Ooh, all that. Marv, you're too good at that. Monday, the 6th of March 2023. I hope that's the right date. Okay. I listened to 2 episodes of Lydia's Booktastic podcast in this shift. The first one, Lydia and her dad Ken were looking at the book Chosen in Time, written by C.B. Munn. Obviously, a book all about time travel and that sort of thing. It's obviously for younger readers, but or it's specifically, well, they say the term children's books or kids' books or whatever, but I think books are for everybody, no matter what. If you can read it and you can enjoy it, then do it. And the other episode of Lydia's Booktastic podcast saw Lydia and her dad Ken joined by Lydia's sister Lucy. Now, I noticed Ken actually putting this up, which is why I actually listened to it that night. It posted up that had gone online and was available, and I saw it was an episode with Lucy in. And I'll be honest, when they've got Lucy in there on the show, it's like hilarious consequences, because it's like Lucy almost like she's going, look, let me talk and all that, and it's just so funny, and them trying to make it all professional, and then suddenly Lucy will pipe up, and I just find it hilarious. So on that one they were looking at the books The Fox and the Star by Coralie Bickford Smith, and also the book Magic Molly, written by Holly Webb. But it didn't let me down. It was fantastically funny and hilarious, an episode to listen to, and it really was great. Episode of Sense of Shelf from August 19, 2022 featured John Wesley looking at the graphic novel The Sandman Volume 1, Preludes and Nocturnes, Preludes and Nocturnes, written by Neil Gaiman. Superb writer. Neil Gaiman, I've got in collected form his writing for the Marvel comic series Eternals, and I think that's an incredible piece of work. So I'm a big fan of Neil Gaiman, and shout out to his wife Amanda Palmer, who is an awesome and very original musical artist. Did I ever listen to another Sense of Shelf pod that night? Or have I got that wrong? Nope, that'd be another night. Ooh, or is it? Yep, that's to come. But yep. I also listened to a trailer for an audio drama called Strawberry Spring, I believe it's called, which is written by Stephen King, the author. If I have to explain who Stephen King is to people, there's a problem there, really. The writer of Christine, Carrie, The Shining, all sorts of books, Misery, The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption. I could just list all these off if I'd have written them all down beforehand. and I feel terrible. I should know all these things. But anyway, so it's written by him, and it was a trailer, and I'm really looking forward to listening to that. I had actually lined it up to listen to for the next couple of shifts after that. I'm going in the future here. Ooh, need some twinkling music there. But yeah, in the future, I was going to start listening to it, but I actually, second day into my next lot of shifts afterwards, I actually thought, to be honest, I think I'll wait until I finish this season of Bridgewater, and then in the interim, while I'm waiting for Bridgewater to come back for season 3, which it no doubt will do, then I'll get on with this series instead, because I'm already listening to this, to Bridgewater, to Desert Skies, and the next one I'm going to talk about as well, Icarus Complex. So, yeah. But the Icarus Complex, I listened to that, Season 5, Episode 6, Chapter 56, FWB, which Friends with Benefits. Show week for Titanic gets underway. Yep, it's all about, Liam in the musical Titanic on stage, and how that gets along, and, all the things that are going on in the background. Anyway, that's a pretty short episode, quite decent. Yay! We'll leave that at that for now. No interview show again this week for Pods Like Us on Sunday, but there will be the week after, because I do have a booking for this week, so that'll be a really quick turnaround there. So there will be an episode next week, and hopefully I'll have some more episodes recorded soon, and be able to get on with it, because things have just been really difficult at home and in life in general. But anyway, thank you everyone. Take care.